Hey Sagittarius, welcome to the Cosmic Jackal Tarot. I'm your host. Thank you for tuning in and welcome to your flower blood moon eclipse reading. That's a mouthful, right? I haven't been feeling well most of the day, so you might see me munching on a pear. That's literally the only thing I've eaten today besides some saltines. Today is the first day of my cycle, and I haven't had a painful cycle like this painful since I was in high school. I was throwing up, I was in pain, and then also I feel like I may have just had food poisoning on top of that. I don't know, like something just didn't sit well with me, but I woke up this morning with a fever too, and I'm feeling better, but yikes. I mean, I was scared because I live alone, you know. It's not like, hey, I'm throwing up, or, you know, can somebody get me some water or nothing. It's like, if I'm not okay, I'm just not okay. So I missed work, and I meant to get to your readings pretty like way earlier, but some stuff had just been coming up, so I do apologize for the hold up, but your readings are coming. It may keep happening from time to time, but I mean, you get what you get. All right, these are free. So a couple of announcements. For one, I have made a TikTok, and I will be doing like 1 card readings daily. If you don't see them yet, they are coming. I just need to, like, in the morning I only wake up with enough time to like deal with my dog, water my garden, try to meditate for a little while, make some food, try to have breakfast, and then I'm out. But my dog is with my grandma for the next few days, so I may have some extra time, we'll see. But I also have to like edit these readings and stuff because I don't have time to do it tonight. I don't know why I'm telling you all about my process, but in case you were wondering about making a channel and you live alone and you think this is something that's just like easy, I do edit my videos because I say and shit a lot, or I get easily distracted. But you know, I don't want y'all to sit watching me acting really ridiculous and then, you know, okay, well, where's my reading? Amber, it's been 10 minutes. Okay, my bad. Yeah. So, with that being said, I will be doing daily readings, especially for those of you who would rather just like watch TikTok and have a short video than, like, I know for some of you it's hard to sit through long readings until you have like maybe a day to yourself. I also have a TikTok and an Instagram for my dog. All this stuff is like in my link tree down below. Other than that, I am working with Imagine Fest for this year. For those who don't know what Imagine Fest is, if you've ever been to Georgia, then you know it's pretty much like EDC, Electric Zoo, Coachella. It's a really fun place to be. Now, I haven't gone, but this year I'm going, mostly because I got the opportunity to be a promoter. So as a gift for you guys, if you're interested in looking into it, or maybe just coming to see me and we can hang out and meet up, and I may be able to do some tarot readings for you guys. I will have a code down below for you guys to use to save some money on some tickets. And, you know, just let me know if you're coming. I really appreciate that. Other than that, we do have Mercury retrograde, Pluto retrograde, on top of this eclipse that has just happened, which was meant for transformation and healing. I know it sounds scary, a flower blood moon, which is a harvest moon as well. Like, yeah, it was a super moon. But it's a lot of energy that's going around everywhere, and I feel like I've released and healed a chunk of stuff in just that one night during the eclipse. And I will have a video about my experience with it coming, so you guys can probably just get to know me a little bit better and my life in the spiritual realm, or like my spiritual experiences. Maybe it might make you want to open up or tune into things a little bit on a deeper perspective. So, Sagittarius, I feel like some of you feel like it's hard for you to be seen right now. Oh, you know what? I feel like for some of you, you've gotten to a point where you've woken up to understand that maybe some things you've done in the past you were definitely not proud of, and you really wish somebody would have whipped your ass sooner about it or cussed you out about it, so that you can really get a grasp on, wow, like, I did not have to do that. Or I could have let that go. Some of you realize maybe you've been petty for the wrong reasons, or you've been petty to the wrong people, or in the wrong time. And you acknowledge, oh, that's not my best word, but there is a part of you that's like, you know what though? Maybe it's okay for me to feel how I want to feel, but I don't have to act like that to everybody and expect them to, you know, just accept that I am who I am. Sometimes, Sagittarius, people feel like you're upset with something that has to do with them when really you're upset with something that is just internal. Maybe it was something they said and it triggered you to think about something else or whatever, some such. But I honestly feel like you're waking up to understanding that maybe you have done some harsh things or said some harsh things to people who they just didn't know any better. And in the past, you haven't taken accountability to, yo, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to come off like that, I'm just having a bad day, or hey, I'm sorry, the last time that something like this has happened, like, you know, blah, 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 blah. That's cool. But maybe someone's done that to you and you're like, oh, now I know how those people felt, and I owe some apologies, but at the same time, I don't really know what I should say or if they'll even hear me. And I get this overwhelming feeling of loneliness, Sagittarius, that you feel like you've succumbed to bitter thoughts, and most of them are about you not feeling like you're good enough for yourself. That's kind of weird, like how it's being presented to me, but I feel like for some of you, you've understood that you've been looking for a lot, like you've expected a lot out of others instead of just like taking what they're presenting to you. And then you get mad and you blow up because they're not doing what you anticipated for them to do. But then later you're like, well, wait a minute, did I even communicate that? And then maybe you ran into somebody that makes you feel like shit because here you are trying to be on their good side, but now you gotta walk on eggshells and shit because they're upset and you don't know why they're upset, you know what I mean? So, honestly, it's okay. It's okay to feel that way. You know what, Sagittarius, nobody's perfect. It's okay to feel apologetic even to people that don't even want to hear your apology anymore. And sometimes that apology has to come from you to you. That, hey, I'm sorry I allowed myself to flip out like that when I really didn't have to, but can I honestly say I knew any better at the time? Like, I was just feeling how I felt, and I didn't really have to react like that, but what does that change now? Other than the fact that I know for next time how to behave in case I run into a situation like this again. So, do that. Just let it go. Look at it for what it is and be proud of the fact that you're taking accountability. That's the first step in being an adult, is just understanding you're not perfect and you don't have to be. It's fine. Alright, so I'm going to go in with your Moonology manifestation and see what the moon has in store for you. Okay, we have first quarter moon in Capricorn, unleash your kindest self. I feel like, Sagittarius, some of you felt like you couldn't really be all that kind to people, or you'd be kind if you felt like you were going to get something in return, or if you feel like this person's going to do something for you, you're going to breadcrumb them just enough so they keep, like, you know, doing stuff for you. And then when they're like expressing what it is that they want, like they're naming off their expectations and whatnot, especially this is a relationship, but you weren't trying to, you would elude them that like, yeah, I'll do that. And then when they did what you wanted, you were like, okay, and sorry, but I don't have anything for you. Now, like, that's painful, but you know, you didn't think there would be a consequence to it, or if there was, like, oh, what are they gonna do? Stop talking to me? I'm amazing. Or what are they gonna do? Stop talking to me? Well, I was annoyed with them anyway. They feel like I like them or something. Oh my god. But Sag, I'm just curious. When you feel like that, is it because somebody else made you feel that way? Is it because you've been played in a certain way? So like now you feel that it's funny, or that it's something that, well, someone did it to me, so I'm repaying my own karma back into the world by acting the exact same. Because the other person got away scot-free without worrying about how I felt after they left or how they treated me. So why can't I do that to other people? It's because these other people didn't do that to you. It's because these other people may have already just announced what their intentions are, what their expectations are, and you still played them. But why can't you give up that way of living? Some of you. Maybe some of you already have, and I'm not talking to you. You can move to the side. I'm talking to whoever's in front of me right now. Why do you feel like that? Like the world is something that you are meant to play with, and you don't really care who you hurt. Just, well, you know what? They knew what they signed up for when they hung around me. No, they did not. Sag, like sometimes you have a way of really convincing people that you can be a person that's genuine and open. But you hide the kindest part of yourself because I feel like you worry what other people think about it. You don't want to be vulnerable. Nobody does. But in order to allow good things to come towards you, you have to allow yourself to be vulnerable in some sort of way. Love, overall, one of the most powerful frequencies there are, is not something that is felt when you're trying to push it away from you. And for some of you, maybe you've never known love because you've never seen it, you never felt it, so why give it to yourself? When you treat other people really shit-like, it's because you don't love yourself. But some of you do love yourselves, but you love yourselves enough to like not know how to be attached to another person. Okay, I can understand that. But for some of you where it's like you don't want to see other people happy because you're not happy, so you sabotage them, yourself, the dog, the fucking neighbor across the street, your grandma, you know, the lady trying to buy groceries and she's in the produce asking you like, hey, can you reach that for that thing up the shelf? And then you just knock the thing over and it hits her in the head and she's like, yo, what the fuck? And you're like, ha ha, that's so funny. But you don't know what that lady's been through. Maybe she's having a bad day and you're just making it worse. Like she's sitting here like, why would you do that? Like, what about me would make you do that? And you're just like, oh, because you're a person and it's funny. But the cycle is a thing that happens. Now you're just a person and it's funny. I don't know why that's so intense, but I feel like I'm talking to somebody that's like really sitting there like, what am I doing wrong? I always attract shitty people and I don't understand why. I'm not doing nothing to nobody. I'm just trying to have fun. What is your definition of fun? Because it might not coincide with what everybody else perceives as fun. Maybe what you're doing is hurtful and shitty and you need to stop. Maybe you need to grow up. Maybe you need to get to a point where you understand that everything is not your way of life. People are allowed to, even if this is a simulation, people are allowed to still exist and just do people things. So the moment we take what others are doing personal, or we feel some type of way about it without really trying to communicate that, or just like acting out on impulse, there's a consequence for every action. Whether it's good or bad, there's still a consequence. There's still a form of judgment in a way that we'll never really see it when it's coming. And we're not allowed to judge each other. We shouldn't be, because nobody's above one another. We're just here trying to survive, all of us. And just because somebody looks like they have things going for them, or just because somebody looks like they're having a hard time, doesn't mean we're allowed to just intrusively bother them with our own perception of how things should be. So all the Sagittarians can come back and sit in the room. We're good. But for those of you who need to move on and stop being cruel to others, allow yourself to be kind, mostly to yourself. And once you get into that form of everything being contagious, instead of wondering what can people do for you, what good are they for you, and what can you get out of them, why can't people just be around you because you guys get along, because you guys have similar interests? Not everything has to be about what can this person do for you, you know? So I got a new deck, an oracle deck, the Mystical Shaman Oracle. Now, I will have to read the book because it has some helpful stuff about like why you're attracting stuff, how to heal, what to let go of, and all that good, you know, juju vibes type of stuff. All right, what fell out was the owl. Okay, so in the Native American zodiac, I think it's different per tribe, but overall, most of the time, the owl is Sagittarian energy. So funny how I was trying to shuffle and then that card flipped up. A bunch of them did, but it flipped up and it looked right at me. Like that. So I was just like, oh yeah, that's for you. The owl. Very beautiful. The owl is a very wise sign. It's very adaptable. It looks at everything in a bigger perspective and sees things that others can't. And you being a Sagittarius, you're a hunter. So you're always looking for something to stick an arrow in, I guess. But when in reality, the owl has a lot of wisdom to offer. And it flies at night to hunt. It trusts its instincts. It can see, it can hear, it can taste, it can feel everything going on in the nightlife without having to be right there in front of it. And even like a lot of predators are afraid of the owl because of its eyes and how piercing they are. And when they see them in the dark, they're usually thinking it's an even bigger animal. But then here comes this big old fluffy angry pillow, just like, squawking at everybody because, yo, you woke me up. It ain't time to hunt. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you, fam? I get up at like 3:30 in the morning, bro, when shit is fresh, okay? All right, so the essence. This is what you're attracting, what's coming towards you. Owl is the master of the night. She can see situations with perfect clarity, more so when it is dark, and is able to discern truth when others are sightless. She helps you find your light and your lightness in the darkest moments of your life and to embrace the night as your ally. Owl can bring you messages from the invisible world. She opens your ears so that you may hear the voices of the ancestors and you may acquire their wisdom and make it your own. My ex is a Sagittarius, and my most recent ex anyway, and he really had an owl spirit for the most part. Like, he operated best at night. I feel like he wasn't really mostly a day person. He just liked to be like up at night most of the time. And he was very wise in a spiritual way. I don't even think he realized he was, but he was. And he would call me out on a lot of shit, which I, to this day, am very thankful for. I'm like, if you hadn't done it, I wouldn't have noticed. I wouldn't have worked on myself. I would have thought, hanging around with the people that keep me in the same space, like they don't want to watch me grow, but they also get an attitude when I'm not going anywhere, or I don't know, something stupid. I'm not cool with those people anymore, but he'd tell me, be careful who you ran to and be careful wasting all your time talking about other people. You could be spending all that time doing something else. I didn't listen. But as he left, I understood what he meant, and I'm like, he's right. I didn't want to believe it, and I'd be like, well, how would you know? You don't keep friends, you don't da-da-da-da, but he knew what he was talking about. And Sag, a lot of times you do know what you're talking about. You do want to be a spirit that helps others and guides them. Mostly because you had to go through stuff before. You're very wise. You have a lot of information to share with the world, but you wait for the world to question you before you give it out willingly. Because for you, even information and knowledge is not free. It's something that's earned. And a lot of times you wonder if people are even ready to accept the truth, because you're like, I could tell it to you, but you're just going to have a hard time swallowing it. All right, so the invitation. This is the energy of people that you feel are attracted to you, or something about you is why they're attracted to you, that sort of thing. I don't know how to actually word it, but it's an invitation for like people that, or maybe you're attracted to them. Like, what kind of people are you attracting, or what kind of people are attracted to you, that sort of thing. Look around you, notice every detail, and find the hidden messages brought to you by Owl. Do not shoot the messenger. Be grateful to the friend who shows you that you have not wanted what you have not wanted to see until now. Observe all the facets of the diamond without judgment. Remember that the facets you dislike are often mirrors of the parts of you that you do not want to recognize. Do not be afraid of the truth, as it will become your compass. So You know how sometimes, Sag, they tell you you are what you advertise, or you attract like what you are. And I know, for example, for my ex, I'll bring him up one more time. A lot of times he'd be like, why do I keep attracting people that, like, you know, they keep messing up my order, they always want to fight on social media, and, you know, like, I can never find a good person. Like, you know, before me and him were a thing, he'd be like, you know, every girl I get with, they either cheat or they leave, or there's always something. And I'm like, well, you know, you admitted you used to, like, be a very unfaithful person. You would mess with people, and, you know, like, you would lead people on. And then he'd be like, yeah, but I knew I'm getting karma for that. And I'm like, well, then why are you questioning it? It's what you're getting what you deserve. Now, I don't want anybody to think that I'm bashing my ex. I mean, this is just an example, but at that time, I was just telling him straightforward, like, you can't be bitching about why you keep attracting stuff. And this is, you know, you're literally attracting what you don't see an issue with. So until you change that within yourself, it's just going to keep coming. When you think somebody has a problem with you and they don't, when you think that people are, you know, doing stuff behind your back and they're not, when you think that someone is hiding something from you but they're not, but you do it, and so you get even more mad when they do it. But it's like, okay, so you can stay mad, or you can get to a point where you're like, hey, you know what, maybe I should get help for that, or maybe I should heal from that. They both go hand in hand, but you gotta choose one. Otherwise, just stay in your ways, you know. But no one is permitted to keep sticking around with you and wait for you to get it together, especially people with, like, really unruly anger issues. When you break other people's stuff, or scream or threaten others, or hit them, or whatever, or you just say really mean, nasty things. Like, he used to tell people, like, oh, she's just my sugar mama, and it would hurt, because I'd be like, you know, well, but I'm not even old enough to be your sugar mama. We're just 2 years apart. But I'm like, you know, I did everything. I did a lot because I loved you, not even because I was really expecting anything back. I just thought that by doing this, you would be happy. Now, some stuff I did throw in his face, but what I got from all of it was that, you know, maybe I attracted you because of some things that I'm not ready to change about myself, or I just didn't even know that they were that bad. But now that I'm seeing it face to face, I don't want to deal with that anymore. And we split ways. Now, I don't know, he might be thinking like I was this bitter bitch and this, that, and the third, and, you know, I just I can't even say I used him. In his mind, I feel like he just looked at me as this person that was stupid and would do anything if it meant that he could breadcrumb or whatever. I don't know, but I finally gotten to a point where I'm like, you know what, it's not a matter of who's at fault or who did worse than the other, because I had said and done things I wasn't proud of either. But sometimes, Sag, wisdom isn't about knowing more than another person. It can be just understanding that sometimes people are just not on a level where you are. So even though you might have a choice few words for them, it would be best to not even say them, because one way or another, they're going to learn without you having to be harsh with them. But you also know that some people need more time to experience things on their own. Maybe they learn things differently, and you just accept that. You don't try to force them or fuss at them to, like, go outside of their comfort zone. Some of you do, but for a good bit of you, it's like, no, this person is just going to kind of go about things their own way, and I love and trust and respect them enough to just let them do it. Within a relationship, I'm not sure if he ever understood that from me, but he definitely tried to do that with me. Like, I mean, if that's what you want to do, it's your life. But I would get upset, like, well, why aren't you trying to be a part of it? And I guess the life I was living wasn't anything he wanted to deal with per se, but we have moments where we could agree on things, or we just kind of do things because that's all we had going for us at the time. Now, the medicine, what are you meant to heal? What do you need to let go of? Al guards against self-deprecation, or no, self-deception. I thought I said deprecation, I'm sorry. And instead, maybe it's self-deprecation too. And insists that your motives be pure and transparent to all. What is the message that you are not hearing? The situation you are not seeing with clarity? Al invites you to wait patiently. Bide your time until it is right to act. Okay, that was weird how it was worded, but then do so decisively with no hesitation or remorse. Sag, you'll know it's time to let go when it's time to let go. And sometimes you hold on to things because you were angry, because how could this person do this to me? Well, it's okay to question things and dwell in it and go through it 1,000 miles an hour in a loop if you want. But others would consider that victim mentality. Like, yeah, you want to get to the root of why something happened or why someone would do you a certain way, but sometimes, Sag, life is just going to be what it be. Whether you're paying back good karmic debt to the universe or you just want to act a fool and not suffer the consequences of your own actions. You will eventually, even if it's not right on the spot. But sometimes, Sag, a victim is a victim of their own cause, not to other people's actions. But if you sit there dwelling on how could this person do this to me, sometimes you got to ask yourself, did I allow this to happen, or did I have that coming because I've been acting like that? And maybe it's time I just wake up and realize I'm mad about this person doing me how I've done other people. So why do I act like that towards other people? What is it about me that, you know, and it's an open can of worms, this whole conversation I could just have with y'all, but I feel like you get the picture. You're not going to be perfect, and sometimes it is you who has to do the work. But for some of you, maybe you've done the work, but you still have this aftermath of people lashing out at you and accusing you of stuff because maybe they're still enamored with the old version of you and thinking that it still exists, that you're not making a change. But some things get lost in translation, and then there's others who feel like they're too above you or you're not worth the time for them to spare to just talk to you directly instead of talking at you. And if that's the case, you know what? If you've done all you could, you've tried to be apologetic, you've tried to come off remorseful, empathetic, you've tried to just say your piece and they're still not having it, but they want you to keep jumping through hoops to gain their forgiveness. Well, if their forgiveness is too expensive, then what you can do is just replace trying to earn their respect and forgiveness or whatever and give that to yourself. I forgive myself for not being a perfect human while having a spirit experience. I don't know what it's like to be human because this is my first time. For many of you, it is your first time. And then for others of you, you're born from different realms, different dimensions, and you're still figuring out what it means to be a human being, what it means to just be a mortal soul here. But your energy gets exchanged. You don't have to stay tied to things that aren't meant to be permanent. You can change. You just gotta want to. You gotta want it for yourself, not because everybody is getting in your face about it. But again, if you're fine being somebody who doesn't care about others, that is, look, I'm not gonna judge. That's totally okay too. If you're a person that likes to be alone, you don't want to deal with other people's shit, maybe you're like me. Are you a bad person? No, but sometimes you can only handle energy in spurts. You can't be around people all the time, and especially if you're a person who overanalyzes everything. Being around people is exhausting because you got to read social cues. You know, I might want to just kind of do something out of character. How are they going to feel about that? Maybe I want to stop listening to this person for 5 minutes because they won't shut the fuck up and just go enjoy my burger and focus on that. But I know it's going to hurt their feelings. They're going to feel like I'm not giving a shit about how they feel, but goddamn it, they don't care how I feel either. They're still here. Like, maybe I want some space. I wanted it like 3 years ago, but you know, it's okay. It is okay. So just take those messages for how they resonate, you know? Sag, every time I do a reading for you, I hope you know I'm not bullying you or being mean. I want better for you, like I did for my ex. Because for some of you, you think like how you're doing things is great, but I'm just trying to influence you. I'm not going to tell you how you live your life, but if you're watching my videos, it is because you want to learn something. So if I could give you anything, it's the ability to heal wounds that you feel you're kind of past the point of being able to work on because you didn't get your closure, and maybe people have already moved on, or so you feel, but it's okay to express how you actually feel, you know? But if people aren't trying to hear it, it doesn't make you a fool. It just means they're selfish, or maybe they're just done. They don't really know how to feel with you anymore, and you gotta let people people have space and time before maybe they'll come back to you. Who knows? So with that being said, Sagittarius, that is your reading. I hope it resonated. Thank you for tuning in and sticking it out. I want to give you guys a shout out and tell you I'm so happy that you guys are continuing to support me. It means the world. I'm investing in this channel honestly because it is a safe space for me to just be transparent and open about a lot and express the spiritual gifts that I have without feeling like I'm being judged or I used to do all these. I should have went to YouTube a long time ago, I feel like, but here I'm getting a lot more. I feel like I'm being heard a lot more, and like I'm not wasting my breath versus when I was just doing this on Facebook, which honestly is very private. But like I said, I am investing in this channel, buying decks and like trying to make time for you guys despite the fact that I've been trying to do other things. But this channel, I really want to see it grow, and soon I'll be doing spiritual vlogs for you guys. So if you want to get to know me on that route, you have the opportunity. It's coming. So with that being said, if this reading didn't resonate, that is totally okay. Maybe another Sagittarius meant to see this, or somebody with Sagittarius in their chart. And if you were watching for a Sagittarius, I don't need to know. That's none of my business. But other than that, if you guys would like to follow me on other forms of social media, my link tree is down below. And I realized that apparently when I put my description, it was all jumbled. I never noticed that in my previous readings. I apologize, but I did fix it, so now everything is a little more organized and sectioned and easier on the eyes. I have slight OCD. I can't deal with like run-on sentences and like the ones that run for like 3 paragraphs and shit. And I'm like, okay, what? And I have a very short attention span, so I just try to make sure everything is to the point. My description is long, but it's informative, all right? Now, with that being said, after these readings, you guys have your Mercury and Pluto retrograde readings coming up, amongst other things, but I have a lot of other surprises and whatnot, so make sure you guys are tuning in and subscribe so you can, probably win some stuff. Other than that, I love you guys. And once again, thank you so much for tuning in. It really, 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 really makes me happy. It gives me purpose. You guys don't even understand. I love you. Take care. And I will see you in your next few readings. Love you.